Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be explaining you regarding parallelogram law of forces, which is very much important in engineering mechanics. That's in the very first unit where we have equilibrium of forces and calculation of resultant. So right now let's discuss about parallelogram law of forces, which states that if you have any two concurrent forces, what is the meaning of a concurrent force? Concurrent forces are those forces which meet at a point, means which meet together at a single point. They are called concurrent forces. Okay, so if you have any two concurrent forces acting on a body and they are replaced by a single force called resultant. See, when there are number of forces, you have a single force which is having equivalent magnitude, almost equivalent magnitude to those forces, and that's called as a resultant. Resultant is a force which replaces all the number of forces. So if all the number of forces are replaced by a single force, then that single force is called as a resultant. Okay, and force will always have a magnitude as well as direction. Even the resultant will have a magnitude and also the direction. So our intention using this parallelogram law of forces is to calculate the magnitude of the resultant, that is the resultant force which is replaced by the two concurrent forces, as well as the direction of the resultant force. Okay, with how much inclination it is with the horizontal. That's what we need to calculate using parallelogram law of forces. Similarly, we have Lami's theorem, where we have three concurrent forces, means we have three forces coming and meeting at a single point. So when we have three forces, we use Lami's theorem. There also we calculate the magnitude of the forces. Okay, so that's how we have parallelogram law of forces also in continuation to it. So let's discuss now parallelogram law of forces. As I've told you, the statement is if two concurrent forces meet at a point, they are acting on a body, then these two forces are replaced by resultant, and this resultant is shown in the form of a diagonal of a parallelogram. So what we are trying to do in this parallelogram law of forces is that we will be considering those two concurrent forces as two sides of the parallelogram, two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, and obviously the resultant, nothing but the force which is replacing these two concurrent forces, will be shown as the diagonal of the parallelogram. I repeat, the two concurrent forces will be represented as adjacent sides of the parallelogram, and the resultant of these forces will be shown as or represented as the diagonal of the parallelogram. Okay, so now if you observe this diagram, I have two forces P and Q which are concurrent. You can see P and Q are meeting at a point A, right? So the magnitudes of P and Q are shown as two sides of the parallelogram. So you can see, observe AB side which is indicating P, one of the concurrent force. Next you have AC side which is indicating Q, correct? So now what I told, the resultant of P and Q, nothing but this one R. R is the resultant, and this is shown by the diagonal of the parallelogram. So are you clear? So two sides are two concurrent forces and R is the resultant, which is the diagonal of the parallelogram. So now coming to the proof, first we need to construct the parallelogram. Now I have only two forces in my hands, P and Q. It means I have two sides, AB and AC. In parallelogram, opposite sides are equal in magnitude, correct? Parallelogram is so way constructed like your opposite sides will be opposite. Okay, they are opposite sides but they'll be equal in magnitude. So AB and CD will be equal. Similarly, AC and BD will be equal. So I told you AB is represented by P, so obviously CD also will be P, and AC is Q. Similarly, BD also will be Q. Okay, so now the parallelogram is ready. The parallelogram ABCD is ready with P, P, Q and Q. Okay, now what you do is just draw a diagonal and show it as R. Next, the angle between these two forces P and Q is given by theta. Okay, parallelogram doesn't be like a rectangle. The angle will not be 90 degrees exactly. It will be inclined angle. So we don't know how much is the inclination between these two forces P and Q. So let it be as theta. Okay, so the total angle between two concurrent forces is theta, and your diagonal is intersecting that angle theta in terms of alpha and beta. Okay, now what all I have explained you, I have just written here. You can just go through the notes. I'll be posting it in the description. And as I've told you, angle between P and Q is theta. Now what we have to do is, see, till here the diagram is done. According to our explanation, this is our diagram. So PP, QQ, nothing but AB, CD are done. So this parallelogram is constructed. Now what you do is, you start extending AB, start producing AB with dotted lines, and from D you drop a perpendicular. You know the meaning of perpendicular, right? Just exactly you drop a vertical line downwards and you extend AB. So now what will happen? Both of them will meet at some point. Mark that point as E. I'm repeating. Extend the line AB, drop a perpendicular from D. Both of them will meet at one point. Take that point as E. So since I told we are dropping a perpendicular, obviously this will be 90 degrees. And what is the angle between P and Q? It is theta. This is like corresponding angle. So obviously this angle also will be theta. That's why I have marked theta here. Clear? Now we will consider the first right angle triangle BED. Okay, consider the right angle triangle BED. So from here I can apply trigonometric functions. Why? Because it's a right angle triangle. What will be sine theta from this triangle? Sine stands for opposite by hypotenuse. So sine theta will be, what is the opposite side for theta? DE. DE by what is hypotenuse in this triangle? BD. So sine theta will be DE by BD. Similarly, what will be cos theta? Cos is adjacent by hypotenuse. So for this angle theta, what is adjacent side? BE. So cos theta will be BE by BD. Okay. So as I've told you, sine theta is DE by BD and cos theta is, I'll show you the figure here. Yeah, sine theta is DE by BD. Cos theta is BE by BD. Okay, so from here what can you write DE as? This will go this side, BD sine theta. What will be BE from this? This will go this side, BD cos theta. But see here, what is this BD? Q, right? So this can be written as, DE can be written as Q sine theta. Similarly, BE can be written as Q cos theta. Clear? Now this first small right angle triangle is finished. Now let's consider the second right angle triangle, which is AED. Okay, the bigger part I am taking. I am considering the right angle triangle A, E and D. Okay, again in this right angle triangle, now I will apply Pythagoras theorem. You know Pythagoras theorem, right? What does Pythagoras theorem state? Hypotenuse square is equal to sum of side square plus side square, or hypotenuse square is equal to 1 side square plus side square. Correct? So what is hypotenuse in this triangle AED? AD is the hypotenuse. So AD square must be equal to, one side is AE, since I am taking this triangle. So AE square plus the other side is DE square. So from the right angle triangle AED, apply Pythagoras theorem. So from there AD square will be equal to DE square plus AE square. Correct? Now what is AD? AD is nothing but R. So AD is R. What is DE? Just now we got DE as Q sine theta. Next, what is AE? Now see, this complete distance is AE. So AE can be written as AB plus BE. AB is already P. What is BE? Just now we calculated BE, right? Using trigonometric function for this small triangle, we applied cos. We got Q cos theta. So finally, what can you write AE as? P plus Q cos theta. So this is P plus Q cos theta. So now directly in the place of this equation substitute. What is AD? R. So R square is equal to, DE square means Q sine theta whole square plus AE means P plus Q cos theta whole square. So just open the brackets. It will be Q square sine square theta plus, this is A plus B whole square formula. So A square plus 2AB plus B square. So this is P square plus 2PQ cos theta plus, you see first and last term Q square is common, take it out. You will have inside sine square theta plus cos square theta. We know that sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1, right? It's a trigonometric relation. So into 1, so this will become Q square. So just rearrange the terms. So R square will be P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. From here what will be R equal to? Under root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. This is the first equation. I told you, right? Using parallelogram law of forces, we can calculate the magnitude of the resultant. So using this equation number 1, you can calculate the magnitude of the resultant r. Clear? So once you substitute the values of p, q and theta, you will get the value of r. Next, r is what? Magnitude of the resultant force. But force will also have direction, right? So now let's calculate what is the direction of this r. Means, now if you observe this diagram, if you observe r is inclined with an angle of alpha with AB. So AB is the horizontal, right? So r is inclined with an angle of alpha with AB. So generally we take the horizontal inclination. Okay, or else if you know the value of beta, you can do theta minus beta, you'll get alpha. But right now we don't know any value, so what, let us think, we need the value of alpha. So r, using the equation Roman number 1, you will get magnitude of r, but you want the direction, means how much inclination it is there, that alpha we will try to calculate. So what you can do is, to calculate alpha, consider the same right angle triangle AED, the bigger one. Directly you can put out tan alpha. What is tan alpha? What is tan formula? Opposite by adjacent. So if you put tan alpha, opposite side is DE, by adjacent side is AE. So what is DE? Already we calculated DE, right? Q sin theta, by what is AE? P plus Q cos theta. So tan alpha will be Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. We require only alpha, so alpha will be tan inverse of Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta. That's Roman number 2. So you'll get the inclination of the resultant also. You can do either using sin alpha, cos alpha, and then you can put tan alpha, or directly you can put tan alpha. Okay, it's up to you. So this is how you need to solve for parallelogram law of forces. You need to remember these two equations mainly. First one is r, which gives you the magnitude of the resultant force r, and alpha, which will give you the value of inclination of the resultant force r with the horizontal. So I hope you are clear with parallelogram law of forces. I'll just post the notes of this in the description. Please download and study. Hope you understood this video. Thank you.